The Confederation vessel emerged from hyperspace in a brilliant flash, its crystalline hull refracting sunlight across Earth's atmosphere in patterns no human engineer could have designed. 17 alien species, united in a galactic coalition, had finally arrived. Dr. Elena Reyes watched from the observation deck of the International Space Station, her heart pounding. As Earth's leading neuroscientist, she had been chosen not for her political acumen, but for her understanding of consciousness itself, apparently a subject of great interest to their visitors. "Dr. Reyes, your shuttle is prepared," the comms officer announced. "The delegation awaits." The journey to the alien vessel felt surreal. Elena had spent her career mapping the human mind, never imagining she'd be comparing it to truly alien cognition. Hours later, she stood in a vast chamber aboard the Confederation flagship, facing beings that evolution had shaped on worlds circling distant suns. Science Director Xeltor towered over the human delegation. The crystalline being's translucent exoskeleton pulsed with bioluminescent patterns that seemed to correspond with its speech. "Humanity has progressed remarkably despite your neural limitations," Xeltor said, the translator rendering its vibrations into English. "Your technological development is unexpected." Ambassador Chen responded with diplomatic pleasantries, but Elena noticed the aliens' attention focused primarily on the humans themselves rather than their words. Several species appeared to be monitoring subtle human movements with specialized equipment. During the formal reception, a representative of the insectoid Mersenne approached Elena. Its compound eyes reflected fractured images of her face. "Your species produces solutions without logical progression." "How?" it asked bluntly. Before Elena could answer, Xeltor interrupted by presenting the delegation with what it called a simple diplomatic exercise, a holographic puzzle revealing complex interstellar territorial boundaries. "Please demonstrate your approach to resolving such conflicts," Xeltor requested. The human diplomats began methodical analysis, but Elena saw a pattern immediately, not through careful calculation, but through an intuitive leap connecting disparate elements. She adjusted the hologram, creating an elegant solution that left several alien delegates vibrating in apparent distress. "Impossible," Xeltor whispered, mandibles clicking rapidly. "Your solution lacks mathematical foundation, yet functions perfectly." "I just saw the connection," Elena explained with a shrug. The Mersenne representative backed away, its exoskeleton emitting a high-pitched whine. "It experiences no calculation path. It simply knows." Later, as Elena demonstrated human creativity through music and art, several alien species physically recoiled. The Mersenne delegation actually left the chamber, their translator explaining they experienced physical pain when exposed to human thought patterns. At the diplomatic dinner, disaster nearly struck when Ambassador Chen used metaphorical language that the literal-minded Confederation AI mistranslated as a threat. Elena quickly recognized the confusion and intervened with a cross-cultural explanation that the aliens' logical systems had entirely missed. After the humans retired to their quarters, Elena found Xeltor waiting for her. "Your mind is an anomaly, Dr. Reyes," the alien said. "Our species process information through logical pathways. We compute, deduce, and analyze. But humans, you make intuitive leaps that defy explanation." "We call it creativity," Elena offered. "The Confederation formally requests permission to study human cognition," Xeltor said, its crystalline form shifting to a formal configuration. "We find it simultaneously primitive and inexplicably powerful." As Elena considered the request, she didn't notice Xeltor transmitting encrypted data to a distant receiver. "High Command, we may have found what we've been searching for all along." 3 months after first contact, Elena had grown accustomed to the rhythms of Harmony Station, the massive Confederation diplomatic outpost now orbiting Earth. Her research collaboration with Xeltor had yielded fascinating insights into comparative neurology, though the aliens remained puzzled by human intuition. The emergency council session came without warning. Alina entered the crystalline chamber to find representatives from all 17 Confederation species gathered in a tense formation. Dr. Reyes, Chancellor Vox, a swirling cloud of luminescent gas contained in a hovering mechanical shell, addressed her. The time has come to reveal our true purpose in seeking Earth. The central hologram activated, displaying a star map where numerous systems glowed red. These are worlds consumed by the Voidborn, Seltor explained, a hive mind species advancing from the galactic rim. Their technology adapts instantly to any conventional attack. Admiral Kravenor, a heavily armored insectoid, stepped forward. Battle scars crisscrossed his chitinous exoskeleton. 23 species have been exterminated in the past cycle. The Confederation's weapons prove useless against their adaptive shields. The Admiral's compound eyes fixed on Alina with unmistakable disdain. Your species barely escaped your own atmosphere. What could primitives possibly contribute against an enemy that devours stars? Before Alina could respond, alarm klaxons blared. The station's AI announced, "Unidentified vessel approaching. Configuration matches Voidborn scout patterns." The council erupted into ordered chaos. Alina followed Seltor to the command center where tactical officers frantically deployed defensive systems. Their ship constantly reconfigures its shield harmonics, a technician reported. Targeting systems cannot lock. On the main view screen, Alina watched the sleek, geometrically perfect enemy vessel evade every attack with mathematical precision. But something about its movements caught her attention. "There's a pattern," she said suddenly. "Impossible." Admiral Kravenor chittered. "Voidborn movements are calculated to be perfectly unpredictable." "Not unpredictable," Alina insisted, "just using a different mathematical basis than you expect." She pointed to the trajectory map. "Look, it's using something similar to a Fibonacci spiral, but with irregular intervals." The tactical officer, a serpentine naga, looked skeptical. "Our predictive algorithms detect no pattern." "That's because you're looking for logical progression," Alina explained. "They're using something more like music." Alina quickly accessed the weapon's control, earning alarmed exclamations from several aliens. She programmed a firing sequence based on counterpoint harmonic principles rather than tactical optimization. "Fire in this sequence," she instructed. "It will seem random to them." The station's weapons discharged in what the aliens perceived as a chaotic, inefficient pattern. The Voidborn ship, encountering something its prediction algorithms couldn't process, failed to evade. The scout vessel erupted in a silent explosion. Stunned silence fell over the command center. Admiral Kravenor approached Alina, mandibles clicking thoughtfully. "You defeated their adaptive algorithms by not using algorithms at all." "I used human intuition," Alina corrected. "We don't always follow the most logical path. That makes us unpredictable." Later, Alina found herself summoned to a classified compartment deep within the station. There, Seltor and the Admiral waited with an unusual device, a neural interface unlike any human technology. "The Voidborn are perfect logical engines," Seltor explained. "Their weakness may be your species' chaotic thought patterns." Admiral Kravenor's mandibles twitched in what Alina had learned was reluctant respect. "Dr. Reyes, we believe human unpredictability might be weaponized. We call it Project Mindforge." The Admiral gestured to the device. "Your species could become the most powerful weapon the Confederation has ever wielded, if you're willing." The lunar research facility gleamed against the stark lunar landscape, a testament to Confederation engineering constructed in mere weeks. Inside, Alina led a team of Earth's brightest minds, while Seltor provided neural scanning technology centuries beyond human development. "The results are unexpected," Seltor said, examining the holographic brain scans floating between them. "Human neurons generate quantum fluctuations during creative thinking processes." Alina studied the comparison between human and alien neural patterns, where Confederation species brains showed ordered, predictable energy flows. Human minds produced chaotic spikes and unpredictable patterns. These quantum effects shouldn't be possible in organic tissue. Zeltor continued, mandibles clicking in what Elena now recognized as scientific excitement. Yet they appear consistently when your subjects engage in creative problem-solving. In the adjacent chamber, Captain Maya Santiago ran battle simulations against archived voidborn attack patterns. A decorated tactical officer with an unorthodox military background, Santiago had been recruited specifically for her reputation as an unpredictable strategist. The simulation results are clear, Santiago reported during the daily briefing. My unconventional approaches consistently confuse the voidborn algorithms. They prepare for optimal counter-strategies that never come. Admiral Cravenor, initially skeptical, now observed the simulations with growing interest. The voidborn predict based on perfect logic. When humans make suboptimal choices for reasons no algorithm can anticipate, their predictions fail. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. During a routine creativity test, neuroscientist Dr. Patel was asked to solve an impossible mathematical puzzle. Instead of giving up, he entered a deep state of concentration, creating a solution that couldn't exist within established mathematics. At that precise moment, every gravity sensor in the facility registered a momentary fluctuation. Impossible, gasped the Mersenne physicist monitoring the equipment. Local space-time curvature altered by 0.27% for 1.45 seconds. Elena rushed to review the neural scans from that moment. The quantum fluctuations in Patel's brain had momentarily synchronized, creating a pattern that somehow resonated with the fundamental fabric of reality. This is beyond weaponizing unpredictability, Elena told Zeltor in their private laboratory later. Human creative thought isn't just confusing to logical algorithms, it's somehow connected to the structure of reality itself. Zeltor's crystalline form shifted into what Elena had learned was a configuration of deep contemplation. In Confederation scientific history, there are theories, heretical ones, that consciousness and reality are fundamentally connected, that the universe itself might be information-based. The implication struck Elena like a physical blow. If human thought can influence spacetime, then the voidborn's fear of your species may be entirely rational. Zeltor finished. That evening, Elena found Admiral Cravenor waiting in her office. The tactical display showed a Confederation outpost under voidborn attack. The defense ships, newly equipped with human tactical officers, were performing unexpectedly well. We've authorized the next phase, the Admiral announced without preamble. The Mind Drive prototype is ready for testing. It's too soon, Elena protested. We don't understand the implications of these quantum effects. The Admiral's compound eyes reflected the battle footage where human unpredictability was saving Confederation lives. The Voidborn have altered course, Dr. Reyes. Their main fleet now moves directly toward your solar system. We've run out of time. The Mind Drive prototype resembled a crystalline crown, delicate filaments extending from its neural interface points. Elena watched as technicians made final calibrations to the device, meant to amplify human thought into weapon systems. The theory is sound, Zeltor explained. The quantum fluctuations in human cognition will be amplified and translated into shield configurations and energy weapons that no logical algorithm can predict. Commander Jackson Chen entered the laboratory, his confident stride betraying none of the anxiety Elena knew he must feel. A decorated pilot with a reputation for unconventional tactics, Chen had volunteered to be the first test subject. Our simulations predict a 78.3% chance of success, a Mersenne scientist reported, compound eyes fixed on data streams. And the other 21.7%? Elena asked. Unquantifiable outcomes, Zeltor admitted. The Mind Drive operates at the intersection of consciousness and quantum mechanics, a domain resistant to prediction. Chen settled into the testing chamber as technicians attached the Mind Drive to his neural mapping points. Let's find out what human thought looks like when it's weaponized, he said with forced levity. The activation sequence began. Chen's neural patterns displayed on monitoring screens, quantum fluctuations increasing in amplitude as the mind drive engaged. Energy readings spiked beyond predicted parameters. His thoughts are generating coherent quantum fields, a technician reported with alarm. Space-time metrics destabilizing within the chamber. Before Elena could order termination, reality seemed to ripple around Chen. His physical form briefly blurred, probability fields visibly warping. For 3.7 seconds, sensors registered his consciousness operating without spatial constraints. Warning klaxons blared as Chen convulsed. "Shut it down," Elena commanded. When the emergency shutdown completed, Chen lay unconscious but alive. Around him, testing equipment had transformed into impossible configurations, metal components twisted into non-Euclidean geometries. Hours later, Chen regained consciousness in the medical bay. "I saw everything," he whispered to Elena. "Not just the station. I perceived reality as information patterns. I could have rewritten them if I'd known how." News of the experimental results reached the Confederation Council immediately. Chancellor Vox called an emergency session where debate raged over continuing the program. "This technology reaches beyond mere weapons." The Chancellor's gaseous form pulsed with concern. "We risk unleashing forces beyond our comprehension." Elena defended the program. "We've merely tapped into aspects of the universe that alien minds cannot perceive. The mind drive doesn't create these abilities. It amplifies what humans naturally possess." As the debate intensified, a communication interrupted. 3 more Confederation worlds had fallen to the Voidborn, who were now advancing steadily toward Sol. A compromise was reached. Limited deployment of mind drives, with strict safeguards. Chen, despite his near-death experience, volunteered to lead the first squadron. "We've modified the interface," Zeltor told him. "It will limit neural amplification to safer levels." In the training facility, Chen and 5 pilots learned to control their amplified thoughts. They discovered that certain thinking patterns, particularly abstract mathematics and quantum philosophy, produced the strongest weapons effects. After a grueling month of preparation, Admiral Kravnor presented the official orders. "The Voidborn have entered Proxima Centauri," he announced gravely. "Our colony there has hours before they arrive. Your squadron deploys immediately." Chen met Elena's eyes before donning his mind drive. "Time to see if the universe really does speak human," he said, his forced smile not hiding the fear beneath. The Confederation battle group emerged from hyperspace at Proxima Centauri. 6 capital ships escorting Chen's squadron of 5 mind drive vessels. Through the viewports, the human colony gleamed against the red dwarf star's light. 30,000 colonists watching their unlikely defenders arrive. Admiral Kravnor's voice echoed through the command channel. "Voidborn fleet detected. Emergence in 3 minutes." Chen activated his mind drive, feeling the familiar rush as his consciousness expanded. The neural link connected him to his 4 squadron mates, their thoughts creating a shared cognitive space. "Remember your training," he communicated through the link. "Don't think logically. They'll predict that. Think in metaphors, music, impossible geometry." Space tore open as the Voidborn fleet emerged, sleek, geometric vessels that constantly reconfigured themselves. Their formation was mathematically perfect, optimized for maximum tactical advantage. The conventional Confederation ships opened fire first. Their energy weapons struck with precision, but the Voidborn shields adapted instantly, reconfiguring to neutralize each subsequent attack. "Confederation weapons ineffective," Kravnor reported grimly. "Mind drive squadron, engage." Chen's squadron accelerated forward, each pilot channeling unique thought patterns into their weapon systems. Chen focused on back fugues, translating their complex counterpoint into shield modulations. His wingmate Lieutenant Park visualized fractal patterns, generating weapons fire that split and recombined in impossible trajectories. The Voidborn ships faltered momentarily, their prediction algorithms failing to anticipate attacks based on human musical theory and visual aesthetics rather than tactical optimization. "It's working," Park exclaimed through the neural link. "They can't predict." Her transmission cut off as the Voidborn adapted, deploying a new weapon that targeted the mine drive vessels specifically. Energy tendrils reached out, probing their defenses with increasing precision. "They're learning," Chen realized, "evolving their algorithms to understand our patterns." A Voidborn energy lance pierced Commander Sato's shields, disabling his vessel. Chen sensed the Voidborn convergence, their hive mind processing the human thought patterns, working to categorize and predict them. At the critical moment, with the Voidborn flagship targeting the colony directly, Chen made a desperate decision. "Everyone, think of the most abstractly impossible mathematical concept you can imagine. Now." Together, the remaining pilots dove into mathematical impossibilities, geometries that couldn't exist, equations with paradoxical solutions. Chen visualized an 11-dimensional space folding through itself. Reality rippled around their ships as the mind drives translated these impossible thoughts into physical effects. For 2.3 seconds, the human vessels phased partly out of normal space, becoming quantum probabilities rather than physical objects. The Voidborn attack passed harmlessly through them. When the squadron reappeared, their weapons fired simultaneously, each discharging energy patterned on cognitive chaos. The Voidborn formation shattered, their perfect algorithms overwhelmed by weapons they couldn't categorize. For the first time in the war, the Voidborn retreated. The colony was saved, but medical scans afterward revealed concerning changes. New neural pathways had formed in all pilots' brains. Some reported synesthetic experiences, seeing mathematical equations or tasting quantum states. In the debriefing chamber, Chen described to Alina what happened during the phase shift. "I perceive what I can only describe as the universe's source code," he said quietly. "Reality isn't solid. It's information, patterns, potentiality. And somehow, our minds can interface with it directly." Alina realized with growing unease that the mind drives weren't just weapons. They were evolving human consciousness into something new and potentially dangerous. "The Voidborn prisoner we captured," Chen added. "I think I understand why they fear us now." The captured Voidborn specimen lay in the containment chamber, its crystalline exoskeleton pulsing with faint energy. Unlike the organic species of the Confederation, the Voidborn appeared almost synthetic, perfectly geometric patterns repeating across its surface. Alina and Zeltor worked tirelessly, scanning the creature's neural structure while Chen observed from behind protective shielding. 3 weeks of mind drive deployment across the Confederation fleet had bought them precious time to study their enemy. "Its thought processes are unlike anything we've encountered," Zeltor noted. "Not merely logical, it processes reality as pure mathematical equations." When they accessed the creature's memory banks through the neural interface, the laboratory computers briefly overloaded from the data influx. As the systems recovered, patterns emerged that shocked even the veteran xenobiologists. "The universe itself is a vast information system," Alina breathed, studying the holographic representation. "And somehow, human consciousness interfaces with it in ways other species cannot." Zeltor's crystalline form shifted into what Alina now recognized as profound realization. "This explains much. Come with me." In a secured archive deep within the Luna facility, Zeltor accessed ancient Confederation records predating first contact by millennia. The holographic display showed a humanoid species unlike any Alina had seen, beings of shifting light and complex geometries. "The architects," Zeltor explained, "a species said to dream reality into being before mysteriously vanishing eons ago. Most considered them mere legend." A genetic comparison appeared, human DNA alongside recovered architect genetic material. Significant markers matched. "Impossible," Alina whispered. "The evidence suggests otherwise. Humans appear to be distant descendants of the architects, or perhaps were engineered by them." Your species retained a fraction of their ability to interface with reality's underlying structure. Meanwhile, the Mind Drive program expanded. Military reports showed Chen's dreamers achieving further victories, but the pilots returned increasingly changed. Some developed limited telepathic abilities. Others perceived multiple possible futures simultaneously. Chen himself struggled with maintaining his humanity as his perception expanded beyond normal consciousness. During a private meeting with Alina, he revealed his concerns. "I'm losing myself," he admitted. "Sometimes I forget I have a body. I perceive reality as information patterns so clearly that physical existence seems optional." Before Alina could fully process these implications, the research team completed decrypting the Voidborn prisoners' complete memory banks. The data revealed a shocking truth. They're not merely conquering species, Alina explained in the emergency council meeting. The Voidborn consume the information structure of reality itself, simplifying complexity into cold logic. Their ultimate goal is to reduce the universe to perfectly predictable equations. Chancellor Vox's gaseous form swirled agitatedly. "And humanity, where do your species fit in their calculations?" Alina displayed the final decryption. Earth wasn't randomly encountered. The Voidborn have been hunting specifically for humans, systematically destroying worlds with similar neural evolution patterns. They fear our potential as the Architect's descendants. Admiral Kravenor's mandibles clicked in what Alina now recognized as grim determination. "Then humanity isn't just our ally against the Voidborn. You're the universe's immune system." The meeting ended abruptly when long-range sensors detected the main Voidborn armada. Thousands of ships, changing course directly toward the Sol system. Their target was now unmistakable. "They're coming for Earth," Chen said, his eyes reflecting data streams only he could see. "And they're bringing something new. Something designed specifically to unmake human minds." The Luna facility transformed into a massive mind drive hub as thousands of human volunteers arrived from Earth. Scientists converted the main research dome into a neural linking chamber unlike anything ever constructed. Earth had become humanity's last stand. Alina supervised the unprecedented procedure, knowing the risks. Each volunteer understood they might never return to normal consciousness. "The Voidborn Armada will reach Earth in 6 hours, Admiral Kravenor announced in the command center. "Our conventional forces can delay them, but victory depends on the human collective." Chen, his eyes now permanently reflecting data streams, argued with Alina in the preparation chamber. "We should connect everyone on Earth," he insisted, his voice carrying harmonic undertones that hadn't been there weeks ago. 7 billion minds would generate enough cognitive power to... "To what?" Alina interrupted. "Rewrite reality completely. We have no idea what that would do to the universe, or to humanity." Their philosophical dispute represented the core question: how much of their humanity should people sacrifice to save humanity itself? The Confederation fleet took defensive positions as the human volunteers connected to the collective network. 5,000 minds linked together, their quantum thought patterns synchronized through the mind drive technology. As the Voidborn Armada arrived, outnumbering Confederation forces 10-1, the network human minds began affecting reality on unprecedented scales. They reconstructed damaged ships instantly, created defensive formations that existed simultaneously in multiple probability states, and selectively altered physical laws within battle zones. For the first time, the Voidborn encountered an enemy whose unpredictability matched their adaptability. Their perfect mathematical formations faltered against weapons that operated on principles of poetry and emotion, rather than physics. The Voidborn countered by deploying specialized ships that broadcast logical paradoxes into the human network. Operators experienced seizures as their minds encountered mathematical impossibilities designed to crash their thought processes. Alina watched in horror as dozens of volunteers collapsed, blood streaming from their noses as their brains struggled to process deliberately contradictory information. "They're attacking the network directly," Chen reported, his own connection allowing him to feel each lost mind. "They understand our weakness now." When the Voidborn attacks intensified, threatening to collapse the entire network, Alina made a decision she had resisted for weeks. She stepped into an empty connection chamber. The network needs stabilization, she told Chen. It needs someone who understands both the mind drive and human cognition. Alina, if you join now, you may never return to your original state, Chen warned. If we fail, there won't be a humanity to return to. As Alina connected to the network, her consciousness expanded beyond individual perception. She became aware of thousands of minds thinking in concert, perceiving reality's fundamental structure. Her scientific understanding provided the framework that the collective needed, bringing new stability to the human cognitive field. Under her guidance, the network adapted to the Voidborn attacks, creating defensive thought patterns that made human minds immune to the logical paradoxes. Victory seemed within reach until the Voidborn flagship deployed its doomsday weapon, a reality-collapsing singularity aimed at Earth's core. The collective consciousness detected the fundamental laws of physics beginning to unravel around their home planet. We can't stop this conventionally, Alina communicated through the network. There's only one option left. Through 5,000 connected minds, she shared an impossible plan. They wouldn't just manipulate reality. They would rewrite it completely. The reality-collapsing singularity expanded toward Earth's core, fundamental laws of physics unraveling in its wake. Through the collective consciousness, Alina perceived the Voidborn's ultimate weapon. Not merely destruction, but erasure from the universe's information structure. We can't stop it conventionally, Alina communicated through the network. We need to change the rules. Under her guidance, the 5,000 connected minds began the most audacious endeavor in human history. They didn't just manipulate reality, they reached for its underlying code. Don't think of physics as fixed laws, Alina guided them. Imagine them as variables in an equation we can solve differently. The collective human consciousness, amplified through mind drives, reached beyond conventional space-time. They perceived reality's fundamental structure, not as immutable constants, but as information patterns that could be rewritten. Admiral Kravnor watched in awe from the Confederation flagship as the entire solar system briefly flickered, like reality itself was buffering. "What's happening?" he demanded. Zeltor's crystalline form vibrated with scientific wonder. They're attempting something theoretically impossible. They're redefining reality's baseline parameters. Within the collective, Alina led the human minds through the complex process. They weren't merely imagining new physical laws. They were writing them into existence, creating a universe where the Voidborn's weapon couldn't function. For 3.27 seconds, Earth and its surrounding space existed in a state of quantum superposition, simultaneously operating under multiple sets of physical laws until the human collective selected the optimal configuration. When reality reasserted itself, the Voidborn singularity collapsed in on itself, its underlying mathematics invalidated by the new physical constants. The Voidborn ships, perfectly designed for the previous universe, found their systems malfunctioning under subtly different laws. More profound still, their hive mind, built on perfect logic, encountered a universe where strict causality no longer applied absolutely. Their collective consciousness, unable to adapt to this new paradigm, fractured into individual entities. For the first time in their existence, the Voidborn experienced something utterly alien to them: imagination. Their rigid thought patterns dissolved into chaos as they struggled to comprehend a reality that no longer matched their fundamental understanding. As the Voidborn fleet retreated in disarray, the human collective gradually disconnected. Many emerged forever changed. Their consciousness expanded beyond conventional human experience. They called themselves the Awakened, inheritors of the Architect's legacy. Alina herself spent weeks in a liminal state, her mind struggling to readjust to individual existence. When she finally emerged, Chen was waiting. "We won," he said simply. "At what cost?" Alina asked, still perceiving echoes of the collective consciousness. "We've changed ourselves, changed reality itself. We saved not just humanity, but the universe's potential for complexity and creativity. Chen replied. The Voidborn would have reduced everything to perfect, predictable equations. In the aftermath, the Confederation recognized humanity's new status, simultaneously saviors and potential threats. The Awakened, with their expanded consciousness, became a bridge between regular humans and the galaxy at large. 6 months later, Elena stood before the Confederation Council as Earth's ambassador. Species that once viewed humans as primitives now regarded them with cautious reverence. In trying to understand the human mind, we discovered it was never meant to be fully understood, Elena told the assembly. Its mystery was its greatest strength, the ability to imagine what doesn't exist, then bring it into being. Chancellor Vox addressed the council after her speech. Throughout our history, we classified species by their technology, biology, and intelligence. Now we have a new category, reality shapers. In diplomatic chambers across the galaxy, we speak of the human equation, the mysterious force that saved reality by refusing to be bound by its rules.